Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 1st of August 2023 and unfortunately guys, the price of Bitcoin in the global cryptocurrency market is not looking good and looks like the second half of this year does not have any signs of bullish indication. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what is going on in the global cryptocurrency market. But the massive news that is circulating right now guys is that regarding Richard Hart, and the Security Exchange Commission is actually filing a lawsuit against Richard Hart. Now look guys, if you've been in the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency space, you should definitely know by now who Richard Hart is. At one point of time, he was a massive Bitcoin maximalist, then he turned out to be an Ethereum maximalist, and later on he started bashing Ethereum as well, and he started his own protocol called as HEX. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, make sure you watch all of his videos, because a lot of people do actually call his protocol called as HEX completely scam. Now to be honest, I'm in that same boat as well, but what I still recommend you to do is go ahead and watch all of his videos. He just might be, if not one of the best speakers, probably not just in the cryptocurrency space, maybe probably even in YouTube as well. But unfortunately guys, the SEC is aggressively going after him, and unfortunately it looks like because of that, the price of HEX has definitely fallen down. And I'm not sure if that is one of the reasons why the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has gone down as well. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what is going on so far as Richard Hart and particularly HEX is concerned. Now listen guys, there is another misleading news that is going on right now, and that is regarding Coinbase is planning to suspend all cryptos. And the reason why I'm saying it is misleading, because unfortunately Financial Times did actually publish this report based on the interview with the CEO Brian Armstrong, and looks like they have missed key pieces of information and they have misled the readers. Now what has happened is, because of that, a lot of mainstream media such as Forbes and even Reuters has taken the same news. And if you read through the headline, it actually states that Coinbase is suspending all cryptos and only focusing on Bitcoin trading, and that is because of indications by SEC. Definitely not true. And the SEC has actually declined the comments. As a matter of fact, even Coinbase did actually say that the information provided by Financial Times and all the news that is circulating right now. So in today's episode guys, I'll go ahead and clear out all the misleading and incorrect information, and later on guys, we're also going to be discussing some update regarding WorldCoin, and unfortunately we have some update from Germany, and looks like a lot of the European countries are definitely not favor in WorldCoin or an association having access to personal information. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what that news is all about. And guys, finally we're also going to be touch base on the stablecoin kings, that is Tether USDT, because they have released an attestation report. Now look guys, I'm definitely not a massive advocate of Tether USDT, and they have a notorious history of playing around with the audit report, and this time they have released an attestation report. Now mind you guys, this attestation report is by BDO Italy, and BDO as a company is absolutely fabulous, but BDO Italy has been fined several times for manipulating data. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that news. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, we're going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news guys is a positive and a massive news, and that is regarding Binance. And the news is that Binance is the first virtual asset exchange to receive an operational MVP license in Dubai. So definitely beautiful and powerful news. And the second news guys is to do with Metaverse, and the news is that Dubai-based Metaverse company called Landvault is planning to usher in a new era of the internet. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what that news is all about. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode, so let's kick start with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retail and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal guys, they are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they've replaced it with Web 3 and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below you'll get all the information. And listen guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out, and they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France.
and Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers two hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since we've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now unfortunately guys, the global cryptocurrency market is down by 0.35% and it is currently at $1.18 trillion, and I'm really curious to check what happens to the price of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market as and when news regarding Coinbase, or rather misleading news regarding Coinbase about delisting all cryptocurrencies except for Bitcoin tends to circulate. And this is the reason why guys, it's so critical that you look at information from first source. And one thing which I often say, particularly in the world of politics and definitely in the world of cryptocurrencies and blockchain as well, whenever you're looking at information, it is so critical that you look at information from first source. Listen guys, we are living in a world where having a lot of information is not important. Having information from the first source is. So regarding the Coinbase news, let's say if you're reading to Reuters, if you're reading to Forbes, unfortunately guys, those are misleading news. And in today's episode, we'll actually debunk the misleading article which is published by Financial Times. Now that thing being said guys, the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.18 trillion. I wouldn't be surprised in the next few hours if the global cryptocurrency market goes to let's say $1.7 or $1.16 trillion. But as I often say guys, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now the total cryptocurrency market volume of the last 24 hours though has increased by 16.98% and it is currently at $28.28 billion. Now listen guys, this is what happens if the global cryptocurrency market is down, and if the cryptocurrency market volume increases, it just means one thing, that people are actually going ahead and selling their Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, and that is exactly what you can actually see if you look at the 24-hour volume, particularly for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now before we get into that, let's quickly discuss the volume in DeFi. In yesterday's episode guys, we discussed some massive breaking news, and that was regarding an exploit on Curve Finance. And unfortunately guys, because of that, the total value locked as of today is down to $40.81 billion. Definitely not ideal. The volume has marginally increased since the last 24 hours, and it is currently at $2.94 billion. Lido is still dominating guys at 14.90%, but surprisingly guys, since the last 24 hours, the decentralized exchange to centralized exchange dominance has definitely picked up pace. It is at 14.71%. Now what I think guys, a lot of the people do actually fear because of the Curve Finance exploit, and because of that they're actually using decentralized exchanges to go ahead and take out their funds, and that is precisely the reason why the total value locked has gone down. Now let me very briefly run through the 24-hour volume, because yesterday guys, Curve Finance was number 1, but today it is back to number 2, and the number 1 protocol so far as 24-hour volume is concerned is Uniswap, and its volume is $688.73 million. Curve Finance is number 2nd at $413.7 million. PancakeSwap is number 3rd at $387.91 million. Maverick Protocol guys is number 4th at $148.14 million, and finally Dodo at $129.89 million. Now in one of the future episodes guys, what I'm going to do is all of these protocols, I'm trying to go ahead and look at which chains they're actually using, and I'll try to give a detailed breakdown so you get an understanding of which blockchain protocols are utilized, let's say when people are using Uniswap, Curve Finance or PancakeSwap. Now let's look at the volume of stablecoins. It is ridiculously low and down to $22.53 billion, and it accounts for 89.20% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And out of this $22.53 billion, the king of stablecoins, that is Tether USDT, accounts for $18.37 billion. And later on guys, we're definitely going to discuss the attestation report, and the attestation report is done by a notorious company called BDO Italy. Now the volume for Circle USDC is $2.79 billion, and Binance BUSD guys is at $1.28 billion. But listen guys, what I've been looking at is the market cap of Binance BUSD since the last 48 hours. Unfortunately guys, the market cap of Binance BUSD is on a steady decline. Yesterday it was at $3.7 billion. to date is down to $3.6 billion. I'm really curious to check what happens to the market cap of Binance BUSD. Now, on a positive note, guys, today we are definitely going to be discussing some positive news regarding Binance, and that is regarding a license that they have received by Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So definitely positive news, I guess. Now, guys, let's quickly look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin has marginally picked up pace at $11.31 billion. This just means, guys, people are selling a lot of the Bitcoins. Looks like this is unfortunately because of the Core Finance exploit and also because of the misleading article. And Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume since the last 24 hours is marginally higher at $4.27 billion. Now, the market cap of Bitcoin is well below the $600 billion mark. It is at $569 billion. Ethereum is down to $225 billion. The dominance, guys, of Bitcoin and Ethereum has been relatively consistent. Bitcoin is 48.27%. Ethereum is 19.10%. Now, today's episode, guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at decentralized applications working only on Ethereum blockchain. Now, mind you, guys, some of these protocols that I'm going to say next do actually work on other blockchain protocols as well. So if you go to dapradar.com, you can actually segregate it via different blockchain protocol. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be first looking at the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to the decentralized app smart contract over a period of time. And most likely, guys, this number is for the last 24 hours. But I'm also going to be comparing it with the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing a transaction with a decentralized smart contract. So this will give us an idea of how many people are actually using the decentralized app. So the number one protocol, guys, so far as decentralized app is concerned on Ethereum blockchain is Uniswap version 3, and the volume is $2.37 billion. And most likely, guys, this number reflects a 24-hour period. And if you look at the number of users, it is roughly around 4,200 users. The second protocol, guys, is 1inch network, and so far as the volume in terms of dollar amount is concerned is $304.89 million, but the number of users is definitely more than Uniswap. It is at roughly around 5,290 users. The number third protocol, guys, is a bit strange because it is Balancer. Now listen to this, guys. If you look at the dollar amount since the last 24 hours, it is at $249.28 million, but the number of people or number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transactions with a decentralized smart contract is 370. Now, could it be possible that these are only 370 people actually using these protocols, or could it be possible that there are 370 smart contracts, and in the smart contracts there might be hundreds or maybe thousands of people using it? I'm leaning towards the later part. Now, the number 4 protocol, guys, is Aave version 3, and so far as the dollar amount is concerned is $163.37 million, but the number of people using it or the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transactions with a decentralized smart contract is only 517. The number does look extremely scary, guys. Core Finance is at $144.98 million, and the number, guys, is only 277. So it looks like, guys, when you talk about Core Finance since the last 24 hours, only 277 people are using it, or only 277 interactions are being identified performing a transaction with decentralized app smart contract that is related to Core Finance. And guys, listen, few months ago in my Metaverse Everything podcast, I did actually talk about Decentraland, and guys, the number, so far as the dollar volume is concerned, was ridiculously low and down to only $532. And I tried to send it to other colleagues via Telegram thinking that I'm making some mistake, but we also tried to look at it via Etherscan, and we tried to look at blockchain transactions as well. Unfortunately, guys, Decentraland protocol and Metaverse protocols are just not being used, so definitely not ideal. As a matter of fact, guys, Decentraland, I believe, is valued at roughly around $1.8 or $2 billion, and imagine the 24-hour transactions which is actually done by Decentraland is only $532. Definitely scary. So in today's episode, guys, what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to give out basic level information on what is Decentraland, who are the founders of Decentraland, and what is it that makes Decentraland unique. And Decentraland, guys, is a fully decentralized virtual reality platform that operates on the Ethereum blockchain, and it allows users to immerse themselves in a 3D virtual world, interacting with other participants and explore various experiences created by users. To be honest guys, the user experience in Decentraland is absolutely horrendous. Now so far as the ownership of virtual land is concerned, it's important to know that in Decentraland, the virtual world is divided into individual parcels of virtual lands, each represented by a ERC20 non-fungible token known as land. So users can purchase these parcels using the platform's native currency token called as mana, and once owned, users have complete creative freedom to develop their land as they see fit. Now mind you guys, at the start of this year, Decentraland's mana was the highest gainer in the cryptocurrency world. The prices did actually pump up to well over 150%, and at that point of time the price of mana was roughly around 80 cents. But fast forward to today, currently right now when I'm looking at it, it is roughly at around 41 cents. And if you look at it via coin market cap, it is currently ranked at number 57. And guys, listen, if you're into extreme heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne, he did actually have an event in Decentraland called as Ozfest, and I believe the event took place towards the last quarter of 2022. Now the reviews guys were absolutely horrendous, and this goes back to the user experience guys. When you talk about 3D environment, the virtual experience has to be 10 times better than what you're currently experiencing, or people are just not going to switch it. Imagine watching a virtual reality live concert with terrible user experience. Why would people use it when you can watch it live, let's say via YouTube as well? These are unfortunately one of the drawbacks of using a decentralized protocol, particularly in the metaverse. Now let me go ahead and discuss more information, because they also have a DAO feature in Decentraland, and one of the defining features of Decentraland is its governing structure based on DAO, and mana token holders participate in decision-making process, proposing and voting on various aspects of the platform, including updating policies and content guidelines as well. And this democratic governance ensures that platform evolves according to community's preference. This, to be honest guys, I do feel is one of the massive drawbacks of having a decentralized or distributed system, particularly in the metaverse. When you talk about metaverse guys, the new user experience has to be 10 times better than what we are currently experiencing. And if you talk about the community making decision, often it takes months, even years to go ahead and come out with a positive outcome. In case of a centralized entity, let's say Apple or Facebook, the decision making is done by a centralized entity, and fortunately or unfortunately, they can offer a much better user experience in just a matter of few days, maybe even in a few hours. Now let's talk about monetization opportunities in Decentraland, because Decentraland guys provides various ways for users to monetize the virtual land and creations, and landowners can lease their parcels to other users, earn revenue through advertising, or host paid experiences and events. Additionally guys, users can create and sell virtual items, variables and collectibles on the Decentraland marketplace using mana tokens. And in Decentraland they also have districts and themes, and the virtual world of Decentraland is organized into different districts, each with its own unique theme and characteristics. And districts were initially generated through crowd sales of mana tokens, and parcel of land within these districts cannot be traded, and users can find various themed districts such as cyber theme punk Etheria or art focused Vegas City. And so far as creativity outlet is concerned guys, Decentraland offers a platform for artists, developers and businesses to express themselves creatively. Users can build interactive 3D scenes, games, art, installations and other experiences limited only by the imagination and skills. And the platform guys encourages innovation and diversity in content creation as well. And also within the virtual world, users can engage in social interactions with other participants throughout the house, and the platform allows for real-time communication, enabling social gatherings, events and collaborative experiences. And so far as the token economy is concerned, the Decentraland ecosystem relies on two tokens, that is mana and land. And mind you guys, mana serves as a native cryptocurrency used for purchasing land, paying for in-game items and services, and participating in governance through voting. And land on the other hand represents ownership of virtual real estate and cannot be divided or traded like traditional cryptocurrencies. Now let me very briefly run through the growing NFT market, because to be honest guys, when there was a massive hype regarding NFTs, Decentraland was definitely the beacon so far as NFT is concerned, and even metaverse. But unfortunately, because of the user experience, the prices of mana has definitely fallen down, and Decentraland at one point of time did actually become a significant player in the NFT market. And one thing to note guys, that NFTs in Decentraland go beyond just virtual land ownership. They include virtual wearables, collectibles, and other digital assets that have real-world value and can be traded on various marketplaces. And since its launch, guys, Decentraland has been evolving with ongoing development efforts and community involvement, and the platform's roadmap includes continuous improvements, new features, and collaborations to enhance the user experience and expand its offering. Now listen, guys, there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies that do have an office in Decentraland, but unfortunately, guys, if you look at the user experience, it is definitely horrendous. Now let me very briefly run through the founders of Decentraland, because Decentraland, guys, was co-founded by Ariel Malik and Esteban O'Donnell, both of whom have stepped down from major positions at the project but still work alongside Decentraland as advisors. And Ariel previously held the role of project lead at Decentraland between 2017 and 2020, and is widely regarded as a serial entrepreneur that has founded several other startups, including an online translation agency and a CRM platform as well. And he's also worked as an analyst for Charles River Ventures, which is a prominent Silicon Valley venture fund. And the second co-founder, guys, called Esteban, is Decentraland's former tech lead and has a long and varied history in cryptocurrency space, working as a software engineer at BitPay, and he's also an advisor to Matic Network. And he also at one point of time operated his own smart contract development firm called Smart Contract Solutions. And guys, Esteban is also credited of co-founding Zeppelin Solutions, which is an established blockchain technology infrastructure company. So what is the future, guys, of Decentraland? Personally, guys, I definitely don't think a bright future of Decentraland in the metaverse. Now granted, decentralization sounds cool, but in a protocol such as metaverse, a centralized entity does offer a much better user experience. And what I tend to do is in my Metaverse Everything podcast, I tend to give reasons why I do believe that. And guys, every month I do have a session on metaverse, and where I strongly feel that maybe cryptocurrencies may not be an ideal fit in the metaverse, but things like stablecoins, maybe Bitcoin using Lightning Network might be an ideal fit. Now guys, let's discuss the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, because unfortunately, guys, the price of Bitcoin is marginally down since the last 24 hours, and it is currently at $29,318, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 0.36%, but since the last 7 days it is marginally up by 0.74%. Ethereum is currently at $1,863. Since the last 24 hours it is down by 0.43%. Since the last 7 days it is down by 0.79%. And Binance BNB Coin, guys, is still ahead of XRP's RippleNet, and it is currently priced at $242, but since the last 24 hours it is down by 0.65%, and since the last 7 days it is marginally up by 1.38%. And it's going to be really curious to check, guys, what happens to the future of Binance as and when SEC is aggressively going after Binance BNB chain, and at the same time we are hearing positive news regarding XRP or RippleNet. Could it be possible that in the second half of this year, RippleNet or XRP stands above Binance BNB Coin? Is definitely going to be really interesting to check. Now guys, let's go and discuss some massive news that is going on, and that is regarding Richard Hart. So the news is that the US Security and Exchange Commission has charged HEX founder Richard Hart with misappropriating millions of dollars of investor funds from unregistered crypto asset securities, offering that raised more than $1 billion. And they've also charged 3 unincorporated entities that he controlled, that is HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX as well. Now, according to SEC's complaint, guys, Richard Hart began marketing HEX in 2018, claiming it was the first high-yielding blockchain certificate of deposit, and began promoting HEX tokens as an investment designed to make people rich from at least December 2019 to November of 2020. Richard Hart and HEX allegedly offered and sold HEX tokens in an unregistered offerings, collecting more than 2.3 million Ethereum, including through so-called recycling transactions that enabled Richard Hart to superstitiously gain control of more HEX tokens. And the complaint also alleges that between last July of 2021 and March 2022, Richard Hart orchestrated 2 additional unregistered crypto asset security offerings that each raised hundreds of millions of dollars more in crypto assets. Now here's the interesting bit, guys, because it's alleged that those funds were intended to support development of a support crypto asset network called PulseChain and a claimed crypto asset trading platform called PulseX through the offerings of the native token respectively, that is PLS and PLSX. And based off the charges, guys, Richard Hart is also allegedly designed and marketed as a so-called staking feature of HEX tokens, which he claimed would deliver high returns as much as 38%. Now the complaint further alleges that Richard Hart attempted to evade securities laws by calling on investors to sacrifice instead of invest their cryptos assets in exchange for PLS and PLSX tokens. Now, mind you guys, so far as Richard Hart is concerned, I don't think he actually reads a lot of the news and he does not listen to a lot of the podcasts as well. But what I'd really recommend you to do is go to his YouTube channel. To be honest, guys, personally, I absolutely love the way that he speaks. He just might be one of the most prolific speakers, probably in the entire YouTube as well. And it's going to be really interesting to see in the near future. And he has this knack. What he does is, whenever he's, let's say, debating with someone, he takes their point and he grills it and pushes them against their own point as well. And at one point of time, guys, he actually debated with Peter McCormack, and he did actually put Peter McCormack into tears as well. Now, going back to the news, guys, based on the charges, looks like Richard Hart called on investors to buy crypto asset securities and offerings that he failed to register. He then defrauded those investors by spending some of the crypto assets on an exorbitant luxury lifestyle, and this is actually told by Eric Warner, who's the director of the Fort Worth Regional Office. What he actually said is that this action seeks to protect the investor public and hold Richard Hart accountable for his actions, and the SEC's complaint, guys, is filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York, which, as we know, guys, is an extreme left-leaning state, and it actually alleges that Richard Hart, HEX, Blockchain, and HEX violated the registration provisions of Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933, and the complaint also alleges that Richard Hart and Blockchain violated the anti-fraud provisions of the federal securities laws. And guys, the complaint actually seeks injunctive relief, disgorgement of all ill-gotten gains, plus prejudgment interest, penalties, and other equitable relief. And mind you guys, this is going to have a massive and significant impact, not just on HEX, but also on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. So definitely not a positive news. Now guys, let's discuss some kind of misleading news regarding Coinbase that is planning to suspend all cryptos. Now mind you guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is, whenever you're reading any articles, make sure you try to read through the entire article, not just the headlines. Now let me go ahead and explain what actually did happen. What initially happened is that Financial Times did actually report that US Securities and Exchange Commission had asked Coinbase to suspend all crypto except Bitcoin before litigation. However, guys, here's the interesting bit. Coinbase actually denied that SEC told them to delist everything but Bitcoin, and Cointelegraph did actually publish an article that actually states that Coinbase has denied a report saying CEO Brian Armstrong said it was once told by United States Securities Register to delist all cryptocurrencies on its platform except for Bitcoin. So what happened is, guys, looks like the author of the article in Financial Times did actually miss some key pieces of information, and the Coinbase spokesperson did actually tell Cointelegraph that the Financial Times reporter omitted context regarding its conversation with the SEC, and this news is definitely inaccurate. Now let's delve deeper into the situation, because guys, as you know, Coinbase is one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges in the US, and they have been in a legal battle with the US Securities and Exchange Commission over allegations of operating an unregistered exchange and offering unregistered securities as well. And in July, guys, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong disclosed in an interview with Financial Times that the SEC had asked the exchange to halt trading in all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin before suing them. Now, according to Brian Armstrong, guys, the SEC's request implied that they considered every asset other than Bitcoin to be a security. Now, this raised concerns among crypto investors and industry participants, as classifying digital assets as securities would subject them to strict regulations and oversight, potentially stifling innovation and growth in the industry. Now, Brian Armstrong's statement also indicated that Coinbase's decision to go to court was driven by the belief that complying with the SEC's request to delist most cryptocurrencies, not all, would have been detrimental to the entire crypto industry in the US, and the exchange likely perceived the request as an overreach that could severely impact the trading and investment opportunities for users and businesses on its platform, as well as for other cryptocurrency exchanges in the country. Here's where it gets interesting, guys. The SEC responded to Brian Armstrong's claim, denying that its enforcement division had made any formal request for cryptocurrency exchange to delist specific crypto assets, and the SEC actually stated that any such request would require a majority vote from the SEC's commissioners, indicating that there was no official mandate for Coinbase to delist other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin. So look, guys, this conflicting statements between Coinbase and SEC underscore the regulatory uncertainties surrounding the cryptocurrency industry in the US, and the lack of clear guidelines and consistent enforcement actions has been a source of frustrations for both cryptocurrencies and regulators alike. And guys, there's so much of debate and drama going on, even between CFTC and Security Exchange Commission. Now, the SEC's chair, that is Gary Gensler, has been vocal about the need for increased regulations in the cryptocurrency space, arguing that many digital assets could be classified as securities and should be subject to existing security laws. The mighty guys, if you actually look at it, I kind of am on the side of Security Exchange Commission chair, that is Gary Gensler. Now, Coinbase's legal battle with SEC began earlier this year when the commission filed a lawsuit against the exchange, alleging that it operated as an unregistered exchange and offered unregistered securities. And this, to be honest, guys, is black and white. And the SEC pointed out that Coinbase listed at least 13 cryptocurrencies that they consider to be securities without registering them with the commission. And this move, guys, by the SEC highlighted the increased scrutiny of cryptocurrency platforms and the commitment to enforcing existing security laws in the rapidly evolving digital landscape. Now, mind you, guys, I definitely do not like the left-leaning administration and the left-leaning ideologies of Gary Gensler, but in this case, to be honest, guys, he is 100% correct. But what happened in the court case is that, in response to SEC's actions, Coinbase took legal action of its own. Now, what happened in response to the charges being filed by SEC? Coinbase took legal action of its own by suing the Security Exchange Commission in April, seeking clearer guidelines for the digital asset industry, and Coinbase requested the court to compel the regulator to provide more comprehensive and consistent regulations to navigate the complexities of the crypto space. And guys, to be honest, this legal battle could have significant implications for the entire cryptocurrency industry and also may influence how digital assets are regulated and traded in the future. Now, so far as the stance in cryptocurrencies is concerned, guys, the stance has been met with criticism from some industry participants who argue that the lack of clear regulatory guidelines hampers innovation and leaves companies operating in a state of uncertainty, and the ongoing conflict between SEC and Coinbase, as well as other cryptocurrency companies in the US, highlights the need of balanced and well-defined regulatory framework that fosters innovation while ensuring investor protection and market integrity as well. Now, overall, guys, look, the Coinbase and SEC showdown reflects the complexities and challenges in regulating cryptocurrency industry. And to be honest, guys, the outcome of this legal battle will likely shape the digital asset regulations in the United States. But like the Ripple and SEC, definitely is going to take 3 to maybe 5 years, maybe even longer. But going back to the original point, guys, the information that is actually put out by Financial Times and mainstream media is definitely misleading. Now, guys, let's discuss some news all the way from Germany. And this news has to do with WorldCoin, and Reuters has reported that a German data watchdog has been investigating OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and WorldCoin projects since last year due to concerns over large-scale processing of sensitive biometric data. And the Bavarian State for Data Protection Supervision started investigating WorldCoin in November of 2022 because of concerns that the project seeks to process sensitive data at a very large scale using new technology. Now listen, guys, there's a lot of misleading and inaccurate information that is going on regarding data security, particularly with the physical device called as Orb. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, Bankless, one of the leading podcasters in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space, they do actually have an interview via YouTube. What I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, make sure you go out and watch the entire video, because they actually talk about the technology behind it. They also go out and give a description on how they actually built the Orb, the physical device that does the retina scan, and quite a lot of other. Once you listen to that, you will get a thorough idea and understanding of where the data is actually stored. Is it stored by a central entity, or is it distributed, and are they using zero knowledge proof? So definitely go ahead and check it out. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding the notorious stable king, that is Tether USDT, and they have published the Q2 2023 attestation report, and they did that yesterday on July 31st. And here's the interesting bit, guys. According to the report, the attestation states that Tether excess reserves increased by $850 million to reach $3.3 billion, and as a leading stablecoin, now they have revealed $72.5 billion overall exposure in US T-bills, and they've unveiled energy-related investments as well. But here's the interesting bit, guys. NewsBTC has actually summarized the article stating that Tether recorded an operational profit of $1 billion in the second quarter, which is about a 30% decline from Q1 profit of $1.48 billion. Now, what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go ahead and read through the entire report, because knowing the notorious history, guys, to be honest, I'm not too content with what BD or Italy is actually putting out. And one thing which I mentioned several times in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, when Tether USDT did its very first audit, the very first audit, guys, was an actual pie diagram. That's about all. So imagine where the funds are. Absolutely no one has any idea. And even the attestation report, guys, that they've actually published, what is the guarantee that these are the actual funds that they really have? And as I mentioned earlier, guys, BDO Italy has been fined several times for providing misleading and inaccurate information. But those are my thoughts and opinions, guys. But nonetheless, guys, if you actually read through the report does actually state that Tether Holdings Limited is financially stable, transparent in its operation, and takes risk management seriously, which is extremely crucial in the volatile world of cryptocurrencies. But when you talk about stable coins, guys, who are the guys who are going to audit it? That becomes a crucial element. And I did have an interview with Ben Sharon, who's the CEO of Lumi Shares, and one idea that he actually mentioned is that in the near future, using augmented reality, using, let's say, virtual reality headset, absolutely anyone in the world can actually go out and check and validate the reserves. So let's say rather than having $1 to $1, let's say if the stablecoin is backed by gold, you can actually put an augmented reality headset and can actually validate that the golds actually do exist 24/7. Now that, guys, is an absolute brilliant use case, but just having an attestation report or audit report just does not make any sense. So those were the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Day from Blockchain DXB. Now let's discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news, guys, is absolutely brilliant because Binance is the first virtual asset exchange to receive an operational MVP license in Dubai. So let me break down what that news is all about. Because Binance becomes the first exchange worldwide to obtain an operational MVP license from Dubai's VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, and users who qualify now can access regulated virtual asset services in Dubai under VARA's investor protection and market assurance standards. And guys, the milestone reaffirms Binance's commitment to building a compliant exchange in collaboration with local regulators. And Binance recent establishment, the Dubai subsidiary receives the license, allowing it to offer services approved by VARA. Initially, guys, the service will be available to institutional and qualified retail investors, and Binance previously acquired a professional MVP license in March of 2022 and a proprietary MVP license in September of 2022. And mind you, guys, VARA permits Binance to operate two licensed activities, that is virtual asset exchange services and virtual asset broker-dealer services. Now, the licenses are limited to institutional and qualified retail investors in Dubai, and the program from provisional to operational MVP license now allows eligible users to safely convert virtual assets to fiat under VARA designated standards compliant with the Financial Action Task Force, also called as FATF, and the regulated ecosystem ensures user protection and adherence to strict know your customers and customer due diligence measures. And Binance plans to operate the first fully regulated exchange in Dubai, complying with FATF regulations. And the UAE, guys, as we know, is embracing blockchain technology and is fostering a thriving industry with security and innovation at its core. And Binance does actually believe that UAE's vision will set precedent for the global virtual asset industry. And Alexander Shehadi, Binance Dubai's general manager, emphasizes the commitment to market and investment security, and the operational MVP license brings increased trust and access to Binance's services. And Binance's regulatory journey, guys, in Dubai sets a significant precedent for positive collaborations with regulators as well. And guys, yesterday in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, someone did actually ask me if Binance is in some trouble, and today, guys, looks like the news has completely taken a U-turn, and this milestone actually does promise increased security, innovation and scalability for institutions, retail investors, and global virtual asset community as well. And the license marks an epoch in the evolution of virtual asset services, not only in the UAE, guys, but also globally. So definitely positive news for Binance. And lately, guys, Binance globally did seem to be having a lot of problem, but this news is definitely positive. But my big question, guys, is how do competitors such as BitOasis, Crypto.com and Bybit react to this news, and what is the offerings or what are the services that they come up with that they aggressively compete with Binance? But nonetheless, guys, definitely positive news. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding Metaverse. And the news, guys, is that Dubai-based Metaverse company called Landvault, they are planning to usher in a new era of the internet. So let me break down what this news is all about, because Dubai-based Metaverse company Landvault celebrates its 1-year anniversary with a major announcement, because the Dubai-based Metaverse company called Landvault celebrated its 1-year anniversary, and they did that in style with a major announcement, and the company is introducing LandVault 2.0, which is a two-pillar strategy to advance the internet into the next evolutionary phase. And LandVault redefined its approach based on market research, customer insights, and lessons from 2023 Metaverse winter, and the company focuses on the concept of 3D internet to deliver a more enriching and equitable online experience. And LandVault, guys, as we know, have experienced remarkable growth, catering to Fortune 500 brands and undertaking over 200 projects for global corporations and governments as well. And here's the interesting bit, guys. The Metaverse winter that we recently faced prompted LandVault to reassess its value proposition and identify new customer needs. And LandVault now aims to pioneer the Metaverse as the next generation of media platforms, transforming it into three-dimensional internet. And according to them, guys, the three essential requirements of Metaverse success are high-fidelity content, accessibility across all devices, and positive return on investment. And LandVault, guys, has two key pillars to lead the Metaverse revolution in the MENA region. The first one is, guys, building a robust technology stack for creating and monetizing Metaverse experiences. And the second one is introducing cutting-edge technology to the MENA region, focusing on utility-driven approaches. So definitely positive news. And the company collaborates with regional brands and aims to connect with next generation of end users and align with region's unique vision. And LandVault, guys, undergoes a rebranding effort and launches a new website to reflect its renewed vision. And the company's CEO, that is Samuel Huber, emphasizes the mission to unleash the true potential of the 3D internet. And to be honest, guys, having a centralized entity will definitely do it much better, let's say, than a distributed or decentralized organization or decentralized autonomous organization. And LandVault, guys, is actively seeking skilled professionals in sales and business development roles in MENA region. Now listen, guys, to be honest, I'm quite content with this news, but could it be possible that in the next coming months, artificial intelligence does actually steal some momentum, maybe even some investments from Metaverse? So those are unfortunately some of the dangers that CEOs and startups and even tech founders need to be aware about. Now those were the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB, listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question about Nathan, who asks, could the SEC go after Tether USDT next? Nathan, to be honest, it is extremely possible. Now, one thing to remember that Bitfinex, the issuers of Tether USDT, they are definitely not located in the United States, but they are located in British Virgin Islands. And this is a very smart strategy, and I'm pretty much sure they are definitely aware of what they are doing. But what I'd really recommend you to do is try to look at the history of Tether USDT, because the project did go completely belly up. I believe it was in 2019, where all of the funds that they have, or all of the reserves that they have, was actually confiscated by another company or another bank. And because of that, what they did actually do was they launched an STO, that is security token offering. And mind you, that was an absolutely brilliant idea. They did it in a legal way, and they resurrected that particular project. And Simon Dixon did try to do something similar with Celsius Network as well, but unfortunately the CEO Alex Nashensky did not want to share crucial bits of information. Now going back to your question, can the SEC go after Tether USDT? I definitely do think so. It is possible, and if that thing happens, I really do feel it just might be the end of a lot of shitcoins, a lot of cryptocurrencies, and to be honest, I do feel it just might pose a very severe an extremely powerful threat to the existence of Bitcoin as well. Because look, a lot of the transactions in the cryptocurrency world does actually rely on Tether USDT. And to be honest, I personally am not a fan of Tether USDT, and it is a bit surprising that the market cap is on an incline when the number of people this year is actually going down. Because if you look at it, the market cap of Tether USDT is roughly around $83 billion. But if you look at the 24-hour volume this year, it has been absolutely the worst. So imagine your market cap is increasing, whereas the number of users using it has gone down. It does not make absolutely any sense. And once again, Nitin, if you actually look at the people actually managing Tether USDT, there are a bunch of notorious actors as well. And I'm really hoping that if you do find out the audit report, you can actually make it black and white. And if you were to compare, let's say, the audit report of Tether USDT, let's say with Circle USDC, the difference is absolutely huge. Circle USDC's report has pages and pages of documents. They have Excel spreadsheets. They give full-fledged information. But in case of Tether USDT, the report is an attestation report, and often the reports are extremely weak. Sometimes it is as less as, let's say, 12 pages or 20 pages. And what I'd really recommend you to do is, and also for the listeners, look at the comparison of the audit report between Tether USDT, which is done by BDO Italy, and audit report, let's say, which is done by Circle USDC. And to be honest, the report is absolutely scary, and I'm a bit surprised that Binance, they're also launching a new stable coins called as FDUSD. To be honest, I need to go out and recheck what the status of that is. Now listen, here's the problem, Nitin, that I have with stablecoin issuers. They do actually act as a role of a bank, and Tether USDT has full potential to go out and stop your transactions as well. Now, do they fall under securities? Personally, I definitely do think so, but the fact that they have registered in another country, that's one of the reasons why, at least for now, the security is not directly going after them. But could it be possible that the Security and Exchange Commission indirectly goes after them? Knowing the notorious history of the left-leaning administration, I definitely do think that is possible. And I was also listening to a podcast, I'm trying to recollect the name, where they actually mentioned that so far as the US government's rights is concerned, as long as any currency is directly or indirectly connected to the US dollar, the SEC can go after them. But to be honest, I'm no expert on that. I definitely need to probably check it with a lawyer, that if a currency is directly or indirectly connected, let's say, to the US dollar, can the SEC go after them? And if that thing happens, unfortunately, Nathan, I don't think that'll be good, not just for Tether USDT, not just for cryptocurrencies, but also for Bitcoin and the whole hype regarding blockchain technology as well. So those are my thoughts anyways. So that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series in Blockchain DXB. In case you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And now the series of episodes into Crypto and Coffee Date works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.